Across the street from the public housing office in West Oakland sits Cole Middle School, now defunct. This is the place where Jasmine King had come to be educated. A sixth grader who lives a block down says when it was open, the school was just like its surrounding neighborhood. Dangerous, scary, and no place to bring a child.
Everything bad. They don't listen to the teacher, they cut the teacher off, they go get drugs, and the teacher don't even be caring.
In 2007, Jasmine arrived here for her first day of class, a top student who had never been in a fight. Rita Alfred was a consultant at Cole.
Jasmine, when I first met her, was a very innocent young girl. She pretty much followed all the rules.
Within a year, her teachers were on the brink of suspending Jasmine for loud and sometimes violent outbursts that threatened to push the class into total chaos.
I just acted like the other students, or even worse.
According to Jasmine's teacher, Sharon Thomas,
she was one of the feistiest students that I had. I mean, get all in their faces aggressively and talk bad to them.
The next stop for Jasmine?
Gang banging, all that, getting suspended, getting bad grades.
After exhausting every other option, Mrs. Thomas would have to recommend Jasmine be suspended, and if the behavior got worse, expelled. All the encouragement Jasmine needed to complete her downward spiral. Stories like Jasmine's are sweeping schools across the nation. School discipline policies, far from making the schools safer or improving academic standards, are actually fueling a school-to-prison pipeline.
It is time to break that cycle.
Nancy Nadell has been a resident of West Oakland for 28 years. She's currently serving her third term on the Oakland City Council.
As a parent and then as a council member, I witnessed year after year frequent suspensions leading to expulsions, leading to bad behavior in the street, leading to their arrest, leading to prison, where they're surrounded by other children with bad behavior, resulting in an endless spiral downward of emotionally costly failure and taxpayer costly incarceration.
But ultimately, Jasmine's crisis was averted. Even as the district ordered Cole Middle School shut down for low test scores, her school became one of the first in America to test a radically alternative discipline model. The model, called Restorative Justice, gives students a chance to avoid expulsion from school by righting their wrongs through dialogue. On the last day of February, Oakland convened a panel of top officials and researchers from UC Berkeley Law School to discuss their findings. Oakland's Mayor Jean Quan, School District Superintendent Tony Smith, and other top officials were on hand praising the pilot project, which indicates not only that zero tolerance policies do not work, but that restorative justice, even in an inner city school, ended teacher turnover, raised test scores, and cut down on delinquency. Michael Sumner co-authored the report.
We found that suspensions after restorative justice was implemented declined by 87% and reported expulsions dropped to 0.
That data flies in the face of the national trend. Teachers are twice as likely to suspend a kid as back in the 1970s. Despite its success, researchers found teachers and students at Cole at first resisting the pilot project, including Jasmine and her teacher. Jasmine went along only to avoid a worse punishment.
They'll ask me, you want to get suspended or do you want to make a circle and talk about the problem? I'll be like, I don't want to get suspended, I want to talk about the problem.
And the way Mrs. Thomas saw it,
more workshops, more paperwork, more meetings.
But when they went along with the model, sitting in circles, one person telling their side of the story, and then listening to the other person tell their side of the story, with expert facilitator Rita Alfred coaching them in how to express themselves, their resistance gave way to a feeling of kinship, in which Cole became like an extended family.
You see only the half of it. You don't see the whole thing. Because when you're younger, you just think people picking on you, but they're really trying to make you do better.
I don't know that I was really trying to have a relationship. I just wanted them to be in and out, in and out, in and out. You know, just grade their paper and say, here, let's try it again, but not really to find out why they were struggling.
Now a 10th grader in McClyman High School, Jasmine found her restorative justice skills tested.
She actually almost got into a fight with a young man, and all Miss Bendich had to do was just put her hands on her shoulder and say, Jasmine, you know how to do this differently, right? And she just completely calmed down.
You can use one of your quotes or something like that. You'd be like, I don't want to fight.
By addressing root causes, by opening the lines of communication, you can reduce disruptions, you can focus on being a community, you can focus on learning.
Leaving the tall wave of enthusiasm at the conference in downtown Oakland, passing through the jumble of state offices and departments of city government, all of which are reeling from their share of draconian spending cuts, and then through the crime-ridden streets of West Oakland, struck me as a somber return to reality, one that Superintendent Smith tried his best to prepare the crowd for.
We are where we are now. We're not anywhere close to where we need to be. When you have all these restorative justice aspirations, but do you know right now you're kicking kids out, they're coming late, and therefore yes, I do know both things. We have a restorative justice policy, and we have practice that are extremely punitive.
We tend to fund lots of pilot projects. When we find one that really, really works, we have to find the money to bring it to scale. We're going to do this.
I'm just staying out of trouble, and that's my New Year's resolution.